All right. I don't know how accurate that clock is back there, but it said 11 o'clock, so
You're right.
we will begin. The December meeting of the Hartsville-Trousdale County Planning Commission is now called to order. Ms. Shutter, would you call the roll, please?
Heather Bay. Norman here. Katie Dillon here. Mitch Gregory.
Here.
Arthur Harper.
Here.
John Kerr.
Here.
David Nolan.
Here.
David Thomas.
Here.
Cal Williams.
Here.
Next is the approval of minutes. You have had your copy of the November minutes for enough time to have gone over them, looked at them, seen if there's any additions, corrections, or anything that needs to be done to them. At this time, does anybody have anything that needs to be changed on last month's minutes? If not, I would accept a motion of approval.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Have a motion by Mr. Thomas, second by Mr. Nolan, to approve November's minutes. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, please. Change to the agenda under discussion. Item number 1 there, bullet number 1, different types of roads and setback requirements. You mark through that. We'll have to put that off for another time. Does any member have anything that needs to be added, changed on the agenda? Yes, sir.
Yeah, we was gonna bring up about that, where the,
Blasting. We don't have an answer yet. I asked her about that.
Oh.
So, we don't know for sure yet, but it's being worked on. Anybody else? Okay. We have no public hearings. We have no old business. We have no new business. We do, oh, well, under new business, we have one rezoning. I was about to make this a real short. We have a rezone request by Marilyn Helm, / Rachel Davis from A1, R1, and R2 to R1. This is on West McMurray Boulevard, 38.36 acres for future development. It's in the 7th Civil District. You know where this property is? It's down below where Mr. Carmen used to live. What is that road? French. That's up through there. Is there anyone here representing the Helm family? Mr. Carmen, good to see you, buddy. It's been a while. If you don't mind, come up to the podium there and while I know you, our secretary may not, give them your name and stuff.
I'm Harold Carmen. I'm the realtor representing Jerry and Mary Lynn Hamilton. And I have an exhibit, if you'd like to look at it, that just shows the present zoning on the property and where the property is located. Is it okay to pass these out?
Sure.
Yeah, if I have a little bit on it, it's hard to tell.
It's presently zoned in 4 different zonings and they would like to make it R1 instead of R2. We got R2, we got R1, we got agricultural and a commercial zone down at the lower end. And they're not gonna build any streets or anything into the interior of the property. They're gonna use the road frontage that is there to divide lots and sell for nice houses. If they would request it, you would rezone it to R1.
So, Harold is representing Jerry and Mary Lynn Helm, and they're asking the planning commission to send this to the county commission for rezoning with a favorable recommendation. Of course, we have one of 3 options. We can send it with a favorable recommendation, we can send it with a negative recommendation, or we can just send it on over. But those are our three options, but he's asking for the property owners that we send it with a favorable recommendation. With the plans to build, new homes with the current road frontage that's there.
You said they won't be adding any bigger roads. Are they gonna be accessing to the 25 or just?
25, Big Show, and also Circle College. We have probably 2 lots at 25. And then most of the lots will be down Crenshaw, Circle College. And they'll range in size from 1.2 acres up to about 40.
That's the question for Mr. Carter.
So this will all be second, is that correct?
Yes, all definitely.
And so you've already identified. the
We've
roads there.
done a preliminary soil map, and that's the reason. I mean, there could be a whole lot more lots, but we're gonna have to keep it, I think it's 15. That's what we're gonna be shooting for, because most of the good soils are back off of the roadway. We're hoping for better, but I used to live there and I know about the soils.
The souls, it is what it
It
is.
is what it is, yes.
Other yes, sir.
Mr. Chair, I was just gonna say that since this is asking for a rezoning to a more restrictive zoning for the majority of the property, I'd like to make a motion to send it in favorable approval.
Okay, have a motion by Mr. Thomas to send this on to the, county commission with a favorable recommendation. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Nolan. Any discussion? Discussion, or if anybody has any more questions for Mr. Carter? Hard for me to get you saying that, Harold. Hard, Mr. Carmen's your dad.
Some people say when they greet me now, that Mr. Carmen, I said, no, that's my daddy.
Well, those of us that grew up with you, it's just hard to do that. No questions, no discussion. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, please say no. Does pass unanimously. Will be sent. Harold, just in case you may not know, and I'm sure Jerry and Mary Lynn, have they already gone to Florida?
They're in Florida and we'll be back this Friday.
Oh, okay. The first reading on this with the county commission would be in January because they don't meet in December.
Right.
Okay, just making sure you do
Yeah, well, thank you very much.
that.
Well, thank you all very, very much.
Yes, sir.
And it'll be a really nice division. And the houses will be restricted to be very nice. Y'all have a good night.
Harold, have a big Christmas, buddy.
Yeah, y'all do.
All right. That's the last item under new business, unless anybody else has anything to come up under new business. The only other thing we have under discussion is our required training for planning commissioners, which we have to do every year. We have several new ones. I hope y'all are made aware that there is training for this. Those of you that have come on just this year. Rosalie, would you like to address these?
Yes, thank you. So, I will be sending out an email tomorrow with various links to different trainings. For the planning commissioners, you are required to have 4 hours worth of training. And also sign a statement. So I've been talking with GNRC, and 4 hours is a very long time to sit and watch a video for the training and be able to absorb and utilize the information at that time. And so we are coming up with a plan on how to do a basic training, say every month in the planning commission time, so that you hear maybe the 30 minutes of training, so that at the end of the year, you've got your 4 hours and it's payments. You've got your training and you're able to utilize that in 30-minute bites. That's a doable. And be able to retain the information. So, I'd like to ask you guys, especially the new ones, what are you looking for your trainings? What would you like to have trainings on initially.
I'll just answer for me. I mean, I don't mind the videos and because I kind of got used to that with the school system. But the in-person trainings, typically, are more, we can direct them more to what our needs, local needs are. So, they're both good. We may want to do a combination of them or something, but I can see that the 30-minute ones would, especially be good throughout the year as things come up and we might need more information about, you know. Please speak up, see what y'all think.
I do.
Not everybody wants.
I do think 4 hours I would retain more if it was like a small group interactive versus a 4-hour training. Yeah, it's doable, but I think.
Well, and I said, it's not the biggest.
Yeah, I actually sat through the 4 hours prior to starting, because I thought it was a prerequisite.
All right, a glutton for punishment.
But some of the videos were good that I watched, but I do think having an in-person training to be able to ask questions, arise the video, you can't ask the questions, you gotta do your own research, have it like that. I do think the combination of the two would be. That's for me.
Does everybody think that like 30 minutes a night? Now, if we have a really long agenda or something like that, we, you know, that's something we take into consideration, but, you know, like tonight, that wouldn't have been an issue. And our last several meetings, that wouldn't have been an issue. So, is that 30 minutes, no longer, be about good for everybody?
Good with 30, and basically the hands-on,
Right, right.
like, 4 hours of
All
the with me and give me some hands-on,
Right.
everyone, anything that need to be done, or see anything that I need to do, otherwise, let me know.
Right.
So that's the way it was, typically a hands-on person.
Rick was with you.
When Rick was doing it, was our representative, our advisor, we did that way, and we tailored a lot of it to, well, like, you know, we were doing the, zoning ordinances, you know, beginning I guess we started in like February, maybe even January. We could have tailored some of those to learning about those type of, things and everything, and could have given us the opportunity to, maybe fine tune and that type of thing, some of the things that we had done or had done.
May I request our first training be on whether we can legally do commercial zoning regulations on building materials?
Okay. Sure, we'll take the quiz, don't we?
Sure, sure. I will say this, that I have had some of the commissioners approach me and ask about doing a training on the different zones when we're doing the rezoning. The county commissioners don't deal with it as much as we do. So we know about, okay, R1 means that, you know, we have this much square footage, you know, this is what this is gonna be allowed, and so we're aware of that, but they don't. And a lot of times with the county commission, there is so much. We've had busy meetings in the past, right? The county commissioners they're always busy. You know, they have a long agenda.
If only a body had spent the time to put everything into a chart, so it was really quick to reference for the commissioners to see what zones had which entities in them.
Tis
That'd be a great
the Christmas season. Let's be kind.
So, this would be a great opportunity to invite them to come and
Those that won't.
and learn, right? And be in a conducive environment for learning things. And being able to ask questions, which I think, to Katie's point, an interactive training, to me, I learn better that way, because I can ask the questions and say, okay, for example, this situation right here, why are we looking at this way, rather than looking at it this way? you know, what in our ordinance says we need to look at it this way rather than over here, so I find that valuable.
And one of the things I like about it is when we're talking about a specific, what could be a zone, like we're talking about, then we can give examples of places locally where we, like on Western Avenue, where we refused to have done an apartment complex before because it's an R1 neighborhood and why we felt that way and what an R1 neighborhood it consists of. That we can speak of it in local terms and hopefully, you know, make it more, you know, more, if we have local examples and that type of thing, it makes it seem to be more important, I think, than something that, a lot of them think is, well, this way they do it in Nashville, or the way they do it in some big city somewhere. And they don't realize that, yeah, they do that in those big cities, but they do it in small cities too.
Well, I think that's a really good example, especially for commissioners, to be able to see, okay, when we, the planning commission said it unfavorable to not do the apartments, and look, it was still developed and still benefited the county. It didn't just end development on their property because one developer didn't get what they wanted.
Right.
They were still able to develop the property, be profitable, and add to the community.
And from what I hear, since that's our example, the prices that they're getting for those homes, they're doing right with it. Of course, I've been amazed for years at the prices people are getting for homes. When I think back to 35 years ago when I built, I got a bargain.
Or just 10 years ago.
Other questions or comments about the trainings? I think everybody pretty much likes the 30-minute concept.
If somebody was to miss, how are they making it? I mean, can we go back to the video at that point? Or
Well, I mean, it would be video.
Mhm.
And so we,
okay, so
yeah,
we'll video that as well. I mean, I think video would be great for the public as well.
what I'm saying, we would have our own video, right? But this, like this meeting is being
Sure.
videoed and you could go back and look at this video. So the training, we would just keep it running through the training. And then should someone miss, they could just go back and watch that part of or the whole. Meeting.
So what Amy can do is, the way that's set up, so she starts it before 7 o'clock and she, you know, whenever we go over and click the button, but she cuts it down to just the meeting. She could divide out the training and just email the training
That would be
to
good.
us,
That-
or it can be posted to public, whichever we
Right.
prefer.
I mean, I
Well-
kind of think it's good letting the public see it as well, because it's educating them just as much. as
Exactly,
it's educating us.
exactly.
Sure.
If somebody's taking the time to watch it.
Well, and if you do the math, there's 12 months in the year. We meet every single month, 30 minutes a month. That gives you how many hours of training? More than the requirement. So if you miss a meeting or two, you're gonna be fine. You still get 4 hours. You're good.
I think that's good. We don't have to have a motion or anything to do that, but I think it's pretty obvious that that's what,
I believe the ones that are not here will agree to it too.
I think so. Regardless, majority rules anyway.
We do need to make a decision as far as the reporting of the training. Do we want to add that as part of our meeting? Or do we want to do that outside, you know, stop from adjourning, stop the meeting and then do. the
If
training?
y'all think that the public, I think that's a really good point. That the public would want to see that and that type of thing. I'm good for that. I don't care, as long as there's a way for if someone missed and wanted to go back and look at it, or if we just needed to go back and refresh ourselves on it, whether it's in the meeting or whether it's separate, to me, it really doesn't make a big difference.
I know from Amy's perspective, it will be easier just to have it all as one video to post
I would think that's good, wouldn't y'all?
if no one has an
Make
issue.
sure we do it first and last, you know, the first 30 minutes, what it is.
Right.
Last, whichever way we do it.
Right.
I would recommend, I'm sorry.
There are some topics, I know when we did the adult entertainment training with Rick back years ago. That was kind of something that you didn't necessarily want made public, because he was going over issues that, you know, we needed to resolve. Holes in the regulations, you don't really want to advertise those, so there might be some training that we want to keep separate.
Strict, I mean, and we can
Just something to
and we
think
can
about.
talk about those as they come up. Yeah, there would, yeah, That's a good point.
I would recommend that our training be towards the end of the meeting. That way, those that are coming forward to speak about whatever they're bringing forward for you to consider, they can go ahead and get their business done.
And leave.
Though it might be good for them to learn it too.
Well, they would be able to stay if they want to.
It's gonna be agenda based too, you know, we get back. Last November, we was full, you know, we was at all kind of new business discussed and at that point.
We were non-talk meetings. So
Right.
And what's that, we might have-
The meeting's gonna be focused at nine to 9:30 over.
And we can make those decisions as that arises. You know,
Well, even if we, get through 4 trainings in a year, we're not down to average.
Right.
It's only, yeah, halfway.
Right.
So.
right. And there will be some there, Mitch is right, there's going to be some meetings. It's just gonna run long because either the length of the agenda or the particular item that's coming up, people are gonna wanna speak and that type of thing.
So first topic. Any requests?
I made mine.
Okay. Question B.
I'm actually, I am serious on that. I mean, there are things that we need to know what we can legally regulate through.
Yeah, let's just do that.
County board or not, because we spend a lot of time on something to be shot down at the end. I still think, and I'm if I am, carried on as the chairman of codes and zoning, I am gonna send that, the way, the final document of that ordinance, I'm gonna send it to Brandon for a legal review. And give him some time just to look it over, and if he comes back and says, yeah, the way it's written now, it's legal, it does fit the law, then it might be something we bring back later next year.
Sure, sure.
So do you want to do that to begin with, or do you want to go ahead and let Brandon review that first?
Well, if GNRC can already kind of put something together, then
Well, I can't offer legal opinion at all.
No, we don't expect that. Just
Yeah,
Training on that subject, we don't want anything outside of the purview. Your,
okay.
Just
All of
another
this.
suggestion,
sure.
if we start out kind of basic and get our feet wet.
Yeah.
We'll start basic and then work our way.
Maybe with just defining and discussing and zones, maybe that's a good place to.
Or now you're a planner, what do you do?
Yeah.
What are you responsible for?
combine.
You may need a couple of subjects for 30 minutes. You know, but
Combine
that might
places.
just only take like 15 minutes or so.
or here's one for everyone, we serve a planning commission, where's the plan?
Do what now?
We serve on the planning commission, where's the plan? Last plan we had is over 20 years old.
But there is a plan. Procrastination does not denote that there's no plan there. Just hasn't been updated in a while.
Well, we fulfilled that plan. And I was actually going back and reading it. I was very impressed on how accurate that plan was. The 20-year plan, the last 20-year plan that was done for Trousdale County predicted all the growth that we have.
And in the
Now,
right
whether
place, and if I recall, in the right places.
In this, yeah, in the exact places that we had the growth, up to 31, the growth, you know, down through town, and yeah, all of it was predicted.
Before we bite off a job that big, and I'm not
Yeah.
against that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying, what I want to say to that
I hear you.
is that, to me, that should be directed to us from the mayor and the county commission, if they're ready for a new 20-year plan. And because if they direct it to us, then we have the assumption that they're going to, it's something they want to adopt and go by. If that's the way I would want them to direct us to do it, not
Yeah.
us just do it.
And then pre-COVID, Mayor Chambers was actually trying to start that process.
I remember that, you're
With
right.
GNRC's assistance, and
Right.
it just fell apart, and then COVID hit and it just died.
Well, on top of that, we had those up in the courthouse, GNR put together, they had food and all that. Hardly any commissioners showed, 2 or 3, that's it. Now the rest of them showed and nothing.
Well, and that's what I'm saying, is if they direct us to do it, then I would think, not all, I'm not saying unanimous, but I'm saying a majority of them would have to be saying that that's a good idea to do. And then we're working then on the assumption that the majority wants this and it could move forward.
Otherwise, it's a great waste of time.
And I'm not into wasting time. You sure? I'm too old.
I will add, just so you, I'm sure you're aware, but the Tennessee State Code only requires the planning commission to adopt your comprehensive long-range plan. It does not have to be adopted by your elected body. It's not,
Well, I had forgotten that. Like I said, it's been 20 years, but I would still, I would want their support and stuff. I would really still, like them.
yeah, just wanted to make sure you're aware that it's,
No,
state law doesn't require. the-
I was here when we did that 20 years ago, but I've kind of forgotten the nuances of it.
Well, and you all are getting a new bridge over the river.
Which I would think would change some of our development.
It's gonna
Oh,
significantly
from
change.
Previous
your development.
developments.
You know, about 30 years ago, when they started talking about that bridge, I told one person from TDOT, I can't remember who the mayor, who the governor was at that time, said, I just hope I live to see it. And now I just might.
I was looking at comments from public meetings that were held in 1997.
I know, they were at my school. Really, they were. They were at the, when we built the new middle school there on the elementary school, you know, it was the original middle school. The guy from PDOT came by and asked, we use your gym, held a public forum to invite people, any people from the surrounding counties to come and look at it. I said, sure, and that's the meeting, that's right. All right, anybody else got any suggestions? Be thinking of training suggestions that, you know, we can, give Rosalie, and you can always email her, you don't have to wait for the meeting, you could email her or something like that. Next, what, does anybody have anything else on that, on training?
I would like to add, I don't know, I know I got it today, how many others did, the three different, ordinances on the billboards from Rutherford, Cheatham, and, Cooperstown. If you haven't read them, go through it and look. Some of them, look like they're just grossly more than what we need, but then again, Cooperstown actually looked pretty good. There's a section on all three of them where they do definitions, and it doesn't leave anything for you to guess at. I mean, they define everything from the structure to the design of the sign, whether the sign's got one on behind it or is V'd, and how that, it was very interesting.
In Cooperstown, if I'm not, they're not even as big as we are.
No. Not even close as big as we are.
And that was gonna be one of the things that I was gonna ask you guys to start reviewing before our next meeting next month, and we can just start taking them and looking at them, because the BZA did ask us to start reviewing our sign ordinances because of how technology is, you know, our ordinance doesn't necessarily approach.
Is
Some of those
is
things.
Matthew sign up there on the, out on the corner up there? Is that gonna be an electronic sign or just a
One
normal?
side will be digital and the other side will be vinyl.
Okay,
You know which one's gonna be which.
No. It would be a mix, but it'd be a 50-50.
anything else, Rosalie? Well, I know you've got a report on the training.
That's it on
Okay.
training.
Next, we'll have our report from Rosalie on our mid-year update.
Just to kind of bring you guys, this is like the mid-year for us. Planning, the permitting process and everything. Again, I've been telling you guys that we have been writing so many permits this year. More so than we did last year during this time. It is now this month so far, I haven't written as many, which is good, and that's the cyclic of building, they want to go ahead and get the foundation and start framing. That way they can start doing more stuff on the inside rather than it being cold. So I'm sure you guys that are into construction, you understand that part. But we are trending. I wrote the 230 permit already this year.
This
For this
building
year.
permit,
Pardon me?
building permit.
Building permits, yes. And those are not only new homes, but it's accessory structures, demolition permits, that's renovation permits. So
I think most people would be shocked to know that Travis County's had 230 permits of for some type of structure just this year.
So it's been rather fun, shall we say? Which also lets you know that there's been that many inspections. Each permit, and some permits don't require an inspection, so to speak, like a demolition permit. Some permits will, depending on the type of structure that they're building, will require more than the basic three, the foundation, the framing, and then the final. Some of them will require a lot more if they're doing like cement walls, or if they're doing like a cement house. That's gonna be multiple inspections, so it's been rather fun. We did get an influx of money on our rezonings, the zoning studies, which the county commissioners were a little surprised in the budget committee, where we had, they had only budgeted us $500 for our zoning studies, which, you know, back then, that would have been maybe 5, you know, rezonings, that type of thing. So far, with just, let's see, it was 3 rezonings that's brought in $1,700. So they were questioning what's going on? Why do we have this influx of money here? So what you guys did in having the rezoning signs and the permitting, you know, coming before you guys, the application fees for planning, it is really, you know, it is paying off and it's bringing money into the county. So. Any questions? We should be going live soon with the permitting software. Learning more and more about it is going to be a real, a bonus for us, because we'll be able to do zoning changes on the map that's within the permitting software. So you'll be able to see in real time, okay, what is this zone? So whatever happens as rezoning, it'll go ahead, I'll be able to go in and update the zoning map. So we're getting closer to that. A lot of different nuances.
You don't have to wait. I mean, you know, the updating maps is a very time consuming process, and this way it can be done much quicker and in real time, so to speak. So that'd be good.
Rosalie, does the map in the new software, is it compatible or talk to the state's map? Or
It does, and in fact, it'll be a little different as far as it'll show all the information, like who the property owner is. Usually you have to go and look and search around for that, so it used what they call a shape file, so if that means anybody can do GIS terms, but they've already uploaded it. They had to speak with somebody from the state.
it might help straighten out some of the either forgotten rezones, or to be able to go back in there and easily be able to pull it up and see, okay, here's the minutes, go ahead and make that change.
Yes,
That should help with our accuracy part of it.
so like something that's been rezoned back in 1999, yes.
Well, actually, it gives the county commission the opportunity to hire the planning office some help, someone to come in and just do that. You know, and
That would
catch
be
it up, quickly.
Yeah.
You know, then that way, everybody will know, you know, you don't have to do all that research and stuff. Just a suggestion. All right.
That's all I have.
Anybody else have any questions or anything for Rose State? Anybody have anything else to come before the planning commission tonight? I would just like to say that, I hope each and every one of you have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Be safe. Remember what the season's really about, and, look forward to seeing you in January. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Have a motion to adjourn and a second.
They do.
Sounds good.